5555 Jacksonville.
Yeah, Mr. Khan. And do something for the fans of this town. I'm tired of watching these football players. They suck. They're already looking for the off season. Can't hold on to the ball. Can't throw a pass. Nothing. Can't block. Do something for the fans of this town.
10XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, David Garrard, and Dylan Denmark.
So that's it, huh, Dylan? That's all we get today?
I was almost not going to do one at all, but I was like...
Put a lot of work into that one, huh? So this was an anonymous person who called what? The
1010XL pop-off line.
The old pop-off line.
Got it yesterday at like 7:30.
Excellent.
I thought that was our guy Meathead there.
No, it wasn't Tom McManus.
Wow.
It wasn't Tom. Maybe it was.
It sounded like him. I think
I don't think
he had a few drinks.
I think maybe. Hey, let me call the pop-off line.
A couple cigars after.
yes.
It's possible, but I'm going to say unlikely. It's possible. I can't rule it out 100%. And I can't rule it out 100% that somebody was not just going over the top with the trollishness, but it could have been 100% legit as well. I mean, it represents the feelings of a lot of fans out there. The team stinks. You lost to the previously on a 10-game losing streak Las Vegas Raiders yesterday. So good morning, everybody, and happy Christmas week. This is Jaguars Today. I'm Mike Dempsey. Tony Smith is here. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning.
David Garrard.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you?
Coach Denmark. That's all I get.
Yeah.
That all you guys? Unbelievable,
Mike,
man.
what's up? How you doing, man?
There we go.
How was the weekend?
Oh, it was fantastic.
I watched a lot of bad football. How about you?
I watched, I didn't watch college, so I watched good football, actually. Well,
Sick.
Saturday.
The first
I did.
Saturday.
Awesome.
Saturday was pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game was entertaining.
It was.
Dude, those guys are
Both
gladiators.
games that I watched.
What's that?
I said
Dylan?
those guys are gladiators, man. Like every time those two teams play, it's like you're getting just guys just knocking the snot out of each other every time.
That last night was nuts. The way they were hitting last night in that Dallas-Tampa game, my goodness.
Mike Evans almost lost his life. I mean, and that was clean, too.
Yeah,
he got a shot right to the ribs.
That play late by Vita Vea, I was like, because when the hit happened, I was like, who was that? Like, who? And you could see the tight end reacting the same way, like, what happened to me on this play? And then you realize it's 50. They had dropped in coverage, and he came tearing across the field to go hit somebody. He was like, oh, my gosh. Like, I'm surprised we didn't have 20 concussions in that game last night, the way they were hitting one another.
Yeah. And then, boy, the Bucs had a chance.
Holy
140
cow.
left. Got the ball back. Here we go. Fumbled it right away.
Oh,
First
there you
play.
go.
They had been trailing the whole game. Double figures. A little bit of the gag, yeah. And they had a little bit of the
Coughed it up.
The gag. Hey, look, who are we to talk? As the Jaguars went into Las Vegas
That's
to
something to
take
gag
on the
away.
2-12 Raiders. They did, right? They were at least in it. The Jags were in this. The Jags actually led this game going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So, it was
There
there
you
for
go.
the taking. There you go. Moral victory Monday here on Jaguars Today. No, I'm not taking any moral victories out of it. I'm just saying that they were in position to win and once again found a way to not get the job done in the fourth quarter. Gave up too many, not the 62-yard touchdown variety like we got out of Brian Thomas, but too many chunk plays.
Yeah.
Same old Dave.
Same old. I mean, Bowers is just a monster out there. Somehow he was open the whole day, and even when he wasn't open, he was still catching the ball with one hand with the dude draped all. I mean, he's a legit tight end.
He's really good.
He is. He is really good.
But you knew that going in.
Yeah.
And you'd think then, let's not leave him 100% alone.
Maybe cover him with somebody that, has real skill. But I think they tried a few different guys on him, and he's just good, man.
Well, first play of the game, and Tony, you think it was Ventrell Miller who had him, Tony, on the first play, and he got tripped up,
he
right?
did. Trying to cross through a
So
couple
he's
guys.
wide open. I mean, he's the one guy that you come in going, keep an eye on him all day long.
He was trailing in the coverage anyway before he got tripped up. Like, the play was going to be a 7-8 yard play at minimum.
Turn into a 32-yarder.
And it turned into a 32-yarder when he got tripped up. But, yeah, it was Ventrell trying to come across there. And I forget who it was he tripped on, but it was one of the corners on that side.
Well, they were guarding their guy, and that's a little rub play.
Honestly, the game he had, with the exception of that play, you take that out, he caught 10 balls for 67 yards.
Yeah.
It's kind of what Brenton Strange did last week, right? Yeah, peppered with targets, caught a bunch of short stuff, and moved the chains on occasion. But it wasn't like he was a game breaker down the seam or anything.
But
like
I think
that.
in the Raiders' offense, that's all they can do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If you kind of take him out of the game, now they're struggling real bad. Maybe they'll just keep throwing it to Abdullah, and he'll just keep.
That would, against certain teams, that would work.
I'm like, who is this guy?
Well, look, Jacoby Myers is their number one wide receiver at this point. He only caught 2 passes for 41 yards. It wasn't a big impact, It was the tale of multiple results with Mac Jones trying to hit Brian Thomas down the field. The first quarter, just, he throws it out of bounds. If he throws it, Dave, I don't know, like 5 yards inbounds,
somewhere where he can get his hand on it. I mean, he's catching it and probably running into the end zone.
There's a great chance that he could take that to the house. Then he throws
another
beautiful
perfect ball
on the hands.
And he
fortunately, considering he dropped it, I'm happy there was a holding penalty.
Exactly.
On the play. Because that would have been such a bummer that was a house call. And that was you got to give him credit. That was a perfectly thrown pass.
Yeah.
And dropped by Brian Thomas. And then, of course, they finally got it straightened out on the third try.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, BTJ is very talented and still trying to figure out why we didn't feed him more early on.
I think everyone is. I think we're all now at the point now, like, they were dummies.
What were they thinking?
I don't know.
I think the rationale they've presented, I understand what they're saying. I think it's bad rationale, right? Like, I think the way that they've been talking about it, where they didn't want to put too much on his plate too early, and that's when Kirk and Ingram, and there were veterans around, that you could put a bunch of stuff on their plate, and it's like, we don't want to overload this guy. And then when they got in a position where it's like, well, we got to overload him or we're done. Basically, on offense, they started feeding him this stuff, and they're like, oh, he handled all this fine. We could have done this earlier.
Yeah, so you don't have to overload him with a ton of plays, but if he's going to be out there running a route, let's try to see if we can, devise a play where he's going to catch the ball, just like we've been doing. So you're not saying get out there for all 70 plays and we're going to move you and motion you and you're going to be the key guy on every play, but how about we make sure we target him at least 8 to 10 times in each game?
Yeah,
well, here's
it's
the thing.
Become clear now that you never could have overloaded him.
No.
Right. Christian Kirk went out against Green Bay, okay? The next 2 weeks combined, Brian Thomas saw the ball 7 times.
Yeah.
So there was no excuse for that. It wasn't like Kirk was dominating targets either. I mean, he wasn't putting up these monster numbers.
How many did Ingram get in those couple weeks?
I have to look.
Well, I'll tell you guys, honestly, the reason why we couldn't pepper him more often is because we had so many 3-and-outs. Think about all the 3-and-outs we had in the first part of the season.
Sure.
But then in the second half, we started getting things going. We could have given him the ball then. If you're out there as a receiver running a route, you can catch the ball at the same time. That's not overloading you. When they say they want to overload them, it's you're just now getting into the NFL. We're not going to give you every play and you're the main person every play. But we can still target you and get you into the flow of the NFL with a lot of targets. I'd rather have more targets than no targets. And then I'm like, oh, one time I'm going to catch the ball, I've got to catch it because this might be my only attempt in this game, or maybe I might get one other attempt. That's not how you want to play ball, especially when you have somebody that you realize is a talented kid. You want to find out what kind of talent he really has early.
And we've seen now when you target him, you get results, right? Here's the difference. Tony, you're right. They did go to Evan Ingram in the immediate aftermath of that Green Bay game. 10 targets, 8 targets, 7, 9. Never had more than 45 yards in any game. With the exception of, honestly, the Chicago game where he had 10 catches for 102. He never had more than 45 yards all year. So we're we throw him 10 balls, and he has 45 yards at the end of the day. You throw Brian Thomas 10, he's going to have 80 probably on the low end.
Yeah,
so.
their rationale, I understand what they said. They were wrong.
Yeah. Bad rationale.
Right,
yeah.
like it didn't work out the way it could have worked out for the football team. Someone on the text line mentioned BTJ had the chest injury, which did limit it in practice a little bit. During that, at some point in the season, there were several weeks where he was limited a day or two in practice. And the teams get nervous about that stuff, right? It's a rookie player. We got all this other stuff going on around him. How much should we be giving him? How much do we want to expand it this week for this guy? Like, I know that's how teams think. And it's very typical of how it works in the National Football League. You know it, Dave.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way these things work. And then you get a guy, he's the exception to the rule.
Yes.
Right? And they didn't realize that until way too late in the game.
His volume was so low. That's the issue. It's not even like he was average. Like, we're getting him the ball in the average kind of way. We're just taking a shot here and there. We might throw him a hitch, and that's his day. They did not try to work him in on more, look, you're just good at doing this. We're just going to make sure we run this route so we can at least try to get you the ball. They didn't do that enough. I'm not saying try to target him 15 times out the gate when the season starts, but you do want to get him into the flow of the NFL since this is his first year doing this, but not one shot in the first half, 2 shots in the second half. That doesn't get anybody into the flow and actually get to feel and see what this kid can really do.
Look, they figured it out. We can't go back now, right?
No,
we've been harped on it, and at least in the last 4 games, they've thrown him the ball 49 times, right?
Yeah.
But guess what's happened? He scored 4 touchdowns in that time period. He's at 76, 86, 105, and 132 yards, getting better each week. So we got one really, really bright spot on this football team.
Look out, Titans.
Look, there are a few other players that are performing on this team, but overall, when you lose to a team that's dropped 10 in a row, like the Raiders, and it really looked like they and the Giants were trying to position themselves at the top of the draft, that is, look, you could sit here and on the one hand and go, well, in terms of the result, I'm happy we secured a higher draft position or better draft equity, whatever you want to look at it. But in terms of just judging their performance and presuming that they're actually trying to win, abysmal. Yeah. I mean, abysmal. So
wasn't like last week where you're like, oh, they gave great effort. We almost won it. We almost won this one, but it didn't feel the same.
What? It feels different because you scored points. And it always does. You lose it 37-34, you overlook all the defensive flaws, you go, man, that was an exciting game. You lose 19-14, you're like, damn, man. What the hell's going on here?
Can you imagine the way we would have talked about them if they had lost that first Titans game? 10-6?
Right.
Like if they had been on the 6 side of that.
13-10.
Right, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, we'll test that theory Sunday. Titans coming to town.
All right. Well, today's a Reaction Monday, and we welcome your reaction, whatever it is. We're 2 days away from, finding out if Shad Khan is going to do anything about this in terms of changing the front office, the coaching staff, whatever. And I can't imagine anything's going to happen prior to that. I mean, I can imagine, but, I don't really expect that it's going to happen. Right. We're here. It's Monday, 2 days before Christmas. Is he going to pull the plug on the coaching staff? By the way, it doesn't matter to me that it's 2 days before Christmas. They don't stop getting paid, Dave. They continue to get paid, unlike a lot of other people that are going to get laid off throughout the holiday season. So not going to feel too sorry for these guys, but let's dissect it. What they did, where they go from here. Obviously, they come back for their regular season home finale. There were preseason action too. There was preseason action. Not to suggest that the postseason is at all in play, as we know they've been eliminated now for a couple of weeks. All right, Raiders win it 19-14. If you want to get in and react, 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can hit us up in the YouTube virtual studio chat or on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at David Garrard _9 on Instagram, and at 1010XL Denmark. That's the beautiful music that we're all going to be looking forward to just months and months away. Just, I don't know, Tony, what, 4 full month, about 4 months exactly, right?
Yeah, thereabouts.
Right? January, February,
Yeah.
March, April, right around this time. Late April. We're just about 4 months out from it, so that won't get tiresome.
No.
Every single day.
Fly right by.
Oh, it'll fly right by. All right, so hop on board. David Garrard is with us on a Reaction Monday. Jags fall to the Raiders. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Let's go. Game day gets here a little quicker with Pregame Friday. Here we go. Who's in, who's out, who's on upset watch.
Exactly.
We'll get you ready for the games.
All right, you ready?
Brought to you by Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
Your pipes are leaking, don't get nervous. Fa la 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 la. Call Roll and Reach for same-day service. Fa la 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 la. He guarantees your satisfaction. Fa la 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 la. Call Roland and he'll spring into action. Fa la 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 la. This holiday season, if you have a leak and can't wait a week, dial 904-260-7059. And from the Roll and Reach family to yours, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Garber Auto Mall is home of the lifetime warranty. Every new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chevy, Buick, GMC, and Ford comes with a lifetime warranty. At Garber Auto Mall, your purchase is covered for life. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle.
Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Come to Monahan Jewelers' 47th annual holiday sale now with up to 30% off GIA certified diamonds and up to 40% off our entire store. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. We're not a big box store. We're your local family jeweler with an amazing hand-picked inventory for every budget, and with interest-free financing, enjoy beautiful jewelry with a low monthly payment. Support your local family jeweler this Christmas with up to 40% off our entire inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, open 7 days a week in December.
Jaguars Today.
You're settled into a Dream Finders Homes Monday.
Hey folks, Dave Binion with Zero Res. I asked my wife what she wants for Christmas, and she said the same thing she does every year. She wants a clean home full of family and friends. That means the carpets, the tile and grout, the large oriental rug in our family room, and the huge sectional sofa that everyone loves to hang out on all need a good Zero Res cleaning. Give Zero Res a call and get your carpets cleaned for only $49 a room, and get your tile and grout cleaned for 25% off. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lot bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality product and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Get closer to nature.
Trying to get close to these bucks out here.
Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Faber, and Captain Kirk Walls. The Nimnicht Outdoor Show. Presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Saturday morning, 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses an AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start to the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week, you can be credit card debt free. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, MLS consumeraccess.org.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. If I know anything about the fall, it's hunting season, it's cooler weather. People need to get off-road. What have you got to offer?
We've got the full line of Honda ATVs, the Foreman, the Rancher. We've got the side-by-sides, the Pioneers, the Talons, everything you need to get off-road.
And you can trick them out with all sorts of extras?
If you name it, you want the loud stereo, you want the cool light bar, we got it.
All right, look online, cyclesofjacksonville.com, or head to the showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
Universal Roof and Contracting presents the Offensive Player of the Game. Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
Brian Thomas Jr. was extraordinary while in Las Vegas. The superstar receiver recorded 132 yards on 9 receptions and added in a touchdown on what was a smooth performance. You wonder if the kid has an asbestos suit because he's simply been on fire all season. Brian Thomas Jr. is your Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game.
This holiday season, Universal Roof and Contracting is making it easy to check roof repairs off your list. Get 15% off roof repairs or replacement, plus a $250 gift card to brighten your holiday shopping. Get flexible financing with payments as low as $150 a month and free roof inspections. Secure your home and your savings today. Call 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's our QB. It's a David Garrard Monday on 1010XL. Brought to you by WaterboyJax.com.
Jags got beat up yesterday. You know, a lot of injuries during the game. Which, no excuse. I mean, they've been healthier than a lot of teams this year, including even factoring in Trevor Lawrence. They've been beat up a little bit on offense, but their defense has been mostly intact. Mostly. And that's been the worst side of the ball. So,
that's not good.
Look, I'm used to, said this on the postgame yesterday, I'm used to them giving up chunk plays. It's like that's what they do. It's mental errors. Misalignment, not knowing who you're supposed to be covering, whatever the case may be.
All the above.
Biting on somebody flashes in front of you, whatever. Eric Armstead lines up in the neutral zone.
I've never seen that before.
And then he does it again on the very next play. And I guess to make him feel like he's not all by himself, Josh Hines-Allen then does it on a later drive.
Yeah.
And then Trayvon jumps a mile off on the next play after that.
He's a good teammate. He's like, I'm looking out for my guys.
Yeah, right? Maybe
See, it can happen to anybody.
I mean, look, you could say, well, you know, Trayvon jumping like that is indicative he's trying to get a jump on the play.
Yeah.
That happens. You do bite sometimes. It's the wind up in the neutral zone.
Yeah.
I mean, look down the line. They're going to tell you if you're okay, right?
Yeah, and you look down there and see the ball. Like, you've been doing this for how long now? How many years and decades you've been playing that kind of position? You can line up and see that your head is offsides.
Like, how does that work, Dave? When you've got a wide receiver and he wants to check, he checks with the side judge,
he talks to the side judge, and he just puts his hand back or forward, and the side judge will let him know you need to slide up some or you need to slide back. So he can't sit there and have a conversation with the guy, but he can put his hand forward saying, I'm supposed to be on the ball. And he'll say, slide up.
He'll literally say that.
Yeah, because he'll let you know you're offsides or you're behind the ball. You're not actually on the ball.
Right, and they do it for both teams, and it's not trying to give anybody an advantage.
They're not trying to trap anybody.
No. If a DB is playing bump and run and he's out there with the receiver, they'll say you need to slide back some. They'll let them know. They're not trying
Even if they don't check necessarily.
Yeah, even if they don't check, they'll let them know.
Okay.
Because the defensive guy doesn't ever ask whether he's close enough, you know, but they'll let him know because he's right there. So he can't tell when you're that far away from the ball as opposed to a D lineman. You're right there in the trenches. Like, you see the ball. It's only a few feet away from you. But when you're all the way out to the numbers guarding the receiver and you've got it locked in on him, they'll help him out a little bit.
Well, and it was comical because, you know, it was the epitome of a 2-win team and a 3-win team.
Oh, yeah.
The Raiders went false start. False start. So it was 3rd and 6, right? And
yes.
They went false start. And they back them up. Then they get the snap off, get the play off. They're gonna actually convert it.
Yeah.
False start. All right. So then
further back.
Then we gave them right back in the next 2 plays, and it goes right back to 3rd and 6.
It seemed like the whole game was played at 2nd and 17 and 3rd and 18 and 19 for both sides, for both teams. It's just what it seemed like the game was played at. Hey, it's 3rd and 18. That sounds about right.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it feels like.
Sounds about right.
But to me, is that indicative of anything? Is it just a team that's made a lot of mental errors this year, or did you look at this and say, okay, holiday week, road trip out to the West Coast, 3 time zones? I'm not saying that they shouldn't be used to it, but nothing on the line in terms of the playoffs, right? I mean, did this all kind of come to a head?
So you just went into human nature for guys, especially guys that are out of it, guys that don't have a locker room that is saying, we got to make sure this week that we are on our P's and Q's. We're doing everything possible because we've been doing it all year. They haven't been. It's been a slow, defensively, they've been bad all year. So, yes, that's how it's been. And then offense now is like, well, it's not like they're not trying. It's not for a lack of trying, but it's a lack of focus. There's a lot going on, and they're buying into a lot of that's going on. It's Christmas. There's family that's going to be in town. It's going out to Vegas. Let's go out and stay out a little bit later this time instead of getting back and getting our sleep and all that kind of, not that they stayed out late, but they're just pushing everything to the limit as far as being away from the team. Let's go to dinner, and we normally get back with 30 minutes to go before meetings, but we're going to get back 5 minutes to go. Just all those little things is what adds up to that kind of performance.
Yeah, and I'm not saying because Christmas was a few days away that Tank Bigsby didn't protect the football. You know what I mean? But that's like one of those. That's more indicative of this is a team that's made these kind of errors, and it was a good play. I'll give the defender
perfect punch.
It was a really good punch, but again, when you burst through the line and you're going through all those bodies, at some point as they start to close in on you, you got to protect that football. You got to wrap it up.
Well, and it'd be a different thing if it was the first time we've seen Tank have that kind of problem, right? Like, I give credit to the defender. Made a really good play. It's a really good punch. But when it happens to Tank again, there's that part of you, it's just like, again?
Yeah.
It becomes a thing with Tank, right? And he carries that too. You could see it for the rest of the game, right? Like, he was a little bit more nervous with the ball in his hands than he was up to that point in the game. It's in their heads too when those kind of moments come up. If you're a player that's had any issue with that, and Tank Bigsby has through the first 2 years of his career.
Well, the thing Tank Bigsby has going for him is that Travis Etienne wasn't running anywhere.
No.
He had that 12-yard run early, right? And he looked good on it, right? And I'm like, okay, we got a little something. He had 8 carries for 10 yards outside of that one run.
Tank just looked way better. He looked more demonstrative. He looked like, I'm going to get these extra yards. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to hit the hole hard. He just looked better than Travis yesterday.
Yeah.
This Jags run game has broken me. Like, I've had several years where I've gotten to the point with whatever the Jags are doing on offense when they have a 5-yard run, and I'm watching and going, good run.
Yeah, 5 yards.
Right? Like, not the way that you watch the NFL. Someone has a 5-yard run, and it's like, all right, 2nd and 5. Right? Like, that's the way the NFL typically works. But the Jags, when they get a 5-yard run, it's like, oh, yeah. Maybe they got something going.
That's like an explosive play.
Yeah.
If you get a 5-yard run.
Like, they are so bad running the ball.
Yeah.
And, they lose their left tackle, Walker Little, in the game yesterday, and that has some impact on the game. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but it's hard to tell how much of an impact it can even have given how bad they are running the ball this year. Like, I'm not saying they wouldn't have been better with Walker on the field, but I don't know how much better, and they certainly haven't created. This is now 10 games. It's been 10 games since they've had a 20-yard run. 10 games.
Gosh.
Tank Bigsby, that 64-yard run against the Colts, that's the last time they had one.
Wow.
20 yards.
Sheesh.
Like, it is wildly bad.
That is really bad.
Well,
really bad.
You think back to Travis Etienne's first season of playing here. He averaged 5.1 yards a carry, and a lot of it was because he would break runs. He wouldn't always take it all the way to the house, but he'd bust out of there and outrace it for 40, 45 yards. And I looked at it. I think it's since week 2 hasn't had a run over 30 yards this year. You know, and we see the results, but to actually see the number of how long it's been, a 30-yard run for a starting running back in the National Football League should fall into one of those a month. You would think.
You would think.
For a guy that is athletic as ETN.
Right, who's got there are plotters, right, who are going to be like, hey, I'm in that 15 to 20 yard category.
ETN's a guy who led the NFL in broken tackles last year. Right? Like led the entire NFL. Now he was having to break a bunch of those tackles in the backfield, you know, because the offensive line was giving them nothing up front. So he's getting hit 2-3 yards in the backfield and making something happen. He's turning that into a 3-yard run. Were big plays for the Jaguars offense last year. Well, this year, he's not making anybody miss, and he's not getting in enough space to run away from a bunch of guys. I cannot explain what has happened to ETN this year in the backfield because he's been really good the last 2 years when he's been on the field for this team. It's just not getting any impact this year.
All right, when we come back, let's hear a little bit from the post-game locker room. Particularly Andrew Wingard had some interesting comments yesterday about, you know, lack of playing and, you know, just kind of where things stand with this team and the lack of emotion and different things like that. So we'll get into that on the other side. If you want to get in, 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. Jags fall to the Raiders 19-14 on a reaction Monday. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
For the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL.
Open enrollment is here, so it's time to secure health coverage for your family. Whether you need Affordable Care Act plans, dental, or Medicare, visit one of the Florida Blue pop-up enrollment tents near you. They make the process easy and stress-free, with medical and dental insurance you can count on. Plus, listen to this. Based on eligibility, many people pay absolutely nothing for coverage. Find a pop-up tent in the Rose parking lot on Beach Boulevard near Southside and at Night of Wonders at the Orange Park Mall. Here's a reminder for Florida Blue members. You can access Sanitas Medical Center with 3 locations around town offering primary care, walk-in services, an on-site pharmacy, and mental health support. 3 Sanitas Medical Centers and 2 convenient Florida Blue pop-up enrollment sites combined for a winning team in Northeast Florida insurance coverage.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called the Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents in 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank NA, member FDIC.
Hey, Florida drivers, the holiday season is upon us. When celebrating, always plan ahead and know all your options. If you drink, don't get behind the wheel. Instead, designate a sober driver or catch a ride service. And if you are the designated sober driver, commit to staying sober. Besides, a DUI could cost you $10,000. Not exactly the best gift you could give yourself. Celebrate responsibly and remember to drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Dreamfinders Homes Monday.
Jaguars Today.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to our website, CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
Grab your lucky spot on the couch, because traditions make Sunday easy to enjoy. Bud Light, easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024. Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, Jacksonville Koozies. It's me, Soccer Sam, for Salvatore's Pizza. Rochester, New York's favorite pizza is now open in Jacksonville, Florida. Tapestry Park at the Loft Hotel Plaza. Daily $10 deals. Dine in with beer and wine. And delivery at Salvatore's.com. The famous Formoso family brings Salvatore's Pizza, Rochester's favorite pizza, including our 32-piece sheet pizza for your next event. Go with me, baby.
focused on the Gators from one of the greatest Gators.
Touchdown, Gators!
Chris Doring joins Dan and Jeff on the drill Tuesday morning on 1010XL.
Go Gators!
Brought to you by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah.
This is the Mangler. Years of playing football coupled with lifestyle left my feet mangled with neuropathy. I was experiencing burning, tingling, and numbness. I spoke with 2 foot specialists and they told me there was no cure. They were wrong. I found Dr. Nate Riddle in Ponte Vedra. After utilizing his neuropathy treatment for only 2 weeks, I noticed a difference in my feet. I was regaining my feeling and balance. If you want relief from nerve pain, call Dr. Nate for a free consultation at Riddle Wellness, 904-395-5598.
The Money Pages brings you this week's Red Zone featured player of the week. Number 41, Jaguars defensive end Josh Hines-Allen. Josh played college ball for the Kentucky Wildcats and was drafted by the Jags 7th overall in 2019. Make sure to pick up this week's Jags game program with a commemorative ticket of Josh Hines-Allen inside. Download the Money Pages app for weekly specials. Money Pages, official sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. Every year we have gentlemen come in with the same problem. They just don't know what to buy their wife for Christmas. Well, one thing we can start off telling them is they've come to the right place because at Underwoods it's been our business since 1928 to keep in our stores what ladies want to own. We have a professional credentialed staff that'll treat you the way you expect to be treated, and they can really help solve your problem. We have North Florida's finest collection of diamond jewelry, an extensive collection of pearls. You might be interested in seeing some of the hot new designer jewelry pieces from names like David Yurman, John Hardy, or Roberto Coin. If it's a watch you want, we carry Rolex and other watches that are considered the best. And the one thing you'll love and she'll recognize is the hand-wrapped silver package with a satin ribbon our gifts come in. So make this a Christmas to remember at Underwoods in San Marco, Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. Are the company's Zoom calls getting boring? Might be a good time to order some new logo caps or temporary tattoos. Check them out online at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jaguars lost another game by 1 score on Sunday in Las Vegas, 19-14 to the Raiders. And for Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman, this loss has a little bit of an extra sting because it came against a Raiders team that had lost 10 games in a row.
Yeah, I think it does. Against a football team that, for all intents and purposes, many people thought and believed they were tanking for Shedeur Sanders. Not a good situation to be in. And, you know, look, the Jaguars trying to play a lot of young guys, but at the end of the day, you got to play better than this. I mean, some of the same things are popping up, you know, kind of week after week.
Jeff Lageman on Jaguars Radio with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update. I'm Andrew Gibson.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. The Garrard Monday on 1010XL. Brought to you by WaterboyJacks.com.
Haven't been playing. And you see what happens when I play, so.
That is Andrew Wingard. Yesterday, did a little group media session with 2 or 3 reporters. Mia O'Brien was in there. I think Brenton Martineau. I'm not sure who. Gene Fournette, I think. I heard, watched the entire interview, about 2.5 minutes. And, you know, just basically, you know, you're in that environment. It's sometimes tough to find a guy even willing to talk, right? You're on the road. That's just the way it is. I'm not saying, like, quarterbacks get called up to the podium or they get pulled aside. You're always going to talk after the game. But I've been in many of those post-game
Nobody wants to talk to you.
Nobody wants to say a word. Or they're giving you one-word answers, and they know you can't do anything with that, and they're just like trying to shorten the experience as much as possible. But, you know, Dewey Wingard, the guy that they went to, I guess, kind of get like a veteran's take on everything that's been going on.
Hadn't been a reason to talk to him much.
No, because he hasn't played.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why.
So what was he trying to say there?
Well, He was asked if he's ever been on a pitch count before. Okay, and he's basically saying, as you'll hear some more of these answers, that he's healthy. He's just not playing, and he was very smart. I thought he's like, look, man, all I can do is show up and try to ball every day, and this is who I am. So let's hear a couple of the responses that he gave yesterday, and was asked how difficult this stretch has been for this Jacksonville Jaguar team.
I mean, I know for the guys that haven't been around, it's hard. And I've been through this stuff many times, and you just got to go play ball and know that your tape is your resume and everyone's watching the tape, and that's what you got to do. And it stinks, and I do everything in my power to scream at guys and cuss and say let's effing go, but it is what it is.
Look, the thing I take away from that is I hear it's tough, like for Brian Thomas Jr., you're not used to losing on this scale, right? I'm not saying LSU was running the table every year, but you're not used to losing on this scale, being considered one of the 1 or 2 or 3 worst teams in the league. And when he says that, yeah, it's tough for those guys. I've been around it a while. And I appreciate him saying, you just got to show up basically and do your job and keep working and understand your tape is your resume. So I'm going to, if for no other reason I'm going to put my best work on the field every time I get the opportunity. But what I hear in that is, oh, yeah, the guys that have been here for any period of time, we're used to losing. And I'm not saying that we accept it, but this is, we look up. How do we find ourselves here? Well, ain't the first time, right, with this organization. Yeah. And if you've been around a while, now granted, the last couple of years they've had a winning record, and it's been different. So maybe some of the guys that have only been here on a short-term basis, but they're enough that precede that you don't want to get, here we go again, that's just us, that's the culture of the team. I'm not saying the Jags are trying to foster that culture, but unfortunately, Dave, this is where they find themselves way too often, with rare exception in recent years.
Yeah, and also what I heard was, he's yelling at everybody, let's effing go, let's pick it up, which is telling me that guys can be playing better. He knows they could be playing better. They could be given way more effort. They could be dialed in. They could be hitting gaps a whole lot harder. But he's like, a lot of us have been here. We know that it's the end of the season and we're not going anywhere. So do I want to sacrifice my body as much as I want to? Because I can make it look good for the fans and everybody. Look how hard I came in and hit that guy. But I didn't really go after the ball carrier like I should have. So now he's getting that chunk play like we always see. That is a culmination of one guy, or maybe you got a handful of guys that are giving it their all because they understand that their tape is their resume and all that kind of stuff. But you got another group of guys that are just like, man, I'm just collecting my check.
Don't need 3 months of rehab starting in January.
I don't want to be here in the off season. I might not be on this team, so I don't want to be rehabbing back at home in Pasadena, California or something like that. There's a lot of that going on, especially right now, especially around the holidays, which is why you get a lot of pre-snap penalties and you get a lot of little stupid things because guys just aren't as dialed in. They don't see that future playoff right there, that carrot. So they're just like, man, you know what? I'll just collect the check, do my job.
And then there are guys like Dewey who the carrot is I get to play.
Yeah.
Right? Like for him, that's the carrot. And he looks around and he sees why isn't everyone excited about the opportunity to play? Yep. And it's why he's become a special team standout. There's a reason guys can be special team standout. Not everyone wants to do that. Mm-hmm. It's because he's like, I have an opportunity to impact the game on this play. This is my chance. And he takes every one of those opportunities very seriously. Yes. And for a guy who was dealing with the kind of injuries he was this year and he gets back on the field, well, the season's done by the time Andrew is able to even get on the field and have any kind of impact. But I'm not surprised that he gets back out on the field and he's like, what is happening? Like, where's the energy on this football team right now? We're still playing, guys. Like, he would be at the top of my list of guys that are on this roster right now that are frustrated with where things are. He would be peak frustrated with how everything is working because he is the energy effort guy, right? And it doesn't feel like they have a bunch of energy effort guys, but I know Andrew Wingard is one of them.
But even if he is that guy, if he's not playing, You
It's
can
all
affect
done.
anybody. You can go, hey, let's get the blank going here.
Which is why he prefaces it the way he did. I can only tell you how the guys who aren't playing feel.
Right.
Right. And now I can talk about what I see now that I'm on the field. And he does. It sounds like a guy that was just really frustrated and is finally being able to talk about it for 2 minutes to the media, yesterday after a game.
All right, couple more quick thoughts here from Andrew Wingard, then we'll get to the phone lines at 641-1010. Is it hard to stay focused, he was asked, with the record that the Jags have?
I've seen that all year. I don't know if it's lack of discipline or what, but I've seen a lot of that throughout the year. So I don't think the record has anything to do with that.
Preceding that, he specifically, in the question, it was brought up, the lining up off sides kind of thing. No, it's not Christmas week that's done this. This is the team. This is who they are.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what an indictment. Like those things, you're going to get beat sometimes. Sometimes you're just not the superior player. Andrew Wingard's going to get beat, right? I mean, good luck matching up one-on-one with Justin Jefferson, right? And the Jags, by the way, happen to do a good job against Justin Jefferson, but you get the idea. Sometimes, and you understand that. And you're like, hey, I wish it were different, but the effort's there. That guy's just faster, stronger, better route runner.
He's going to give you whatever he's got.
Right. And you're going to battle, and you may lose, and you may lose big. But lining up off sides, I mean, just like, it's like the offense forgetting the snap count. Those guys, like.
It's such a struggle bus for our team on both sides. And it's very frustrating because you got some guys that prepare like no end. They're going to make sure they got everything down and they're ready to go. But if you only got 5 or 6 guys that are doing that, the rest of the guys, everybody's still going to look bad because it only takes one guy to line up in the neutral zone, and the whole defense suffers from it, especially when you do it 2 times in a row. So it's just,
right.
They gave up 12 and 24 yards on those plays from Armstead, by the way. It was a 12-yard run for O'Connell on a scramble, and then it was one of Jacoby Myers' 2 catches.
Right, they did. They did give up 2 big plays, even with him winding up in the neutral zone. But so one more from Andrew Wingard. Does he feel healthy enough to be playing more than he is?
Hell yeah. Absolutely. I'm a starter in this league.
You had conversations of why you're not getting more reps?
Nah, I just go about my business, put on my hard hat, and go to work.
Think you earned some more today?
We'll see.
God, they need 40 of those guys, man.
Right. I mean, and he's just beside himself. And I get it from a selfish standpoint. You want to play as well, right? And you want to play because you think you can help the team. You think you're good enough to be out there. And he mentioned a couple of times in this interview, like, look, this is above my pay grade. I'm just going to, I show up, I do what I can do, but like that's a guy that I feel like if there were another opportunity, he would, we love the rallying cry and it was always the Jags and all that. This guy wants to play, feels his career is slipping away. I'm not, by the way, saying that Andrew Wingard is a starting caliber safety. There may be, 64 safeties better than him in the National Football League. He probably should be playing a little bit more than he is. And I think, while he may have some physical limitations, he's not as fast as everybody, not as big as everybody. He does. It's not going to be for lack of effort and edge.
The attitude is what they need.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like they need an attitude of a bunch of guys. Whatever my role is, I can do more than they're asking me to do. And if they ask me to do it, they're going to get all I have. Like that's what that answer screams to me. Are you a starter? Yeah, I'm a starter. I'll show you. Like, put me out there and I'll show you.
Everybody
what
should
I can
feel
do.
that way.
Right.
They better.
And it doesn't feel like they have a room full of guys they're not at least expressing it that way. There may be guys who feel that, but they don't say it quite the way Andrew Wingard does and has been willing to say it since, the last 4 or 5 years. He's really developed and these kind of things. It is sad how nice it is to hear somebody in the Jaguars locker room just say it that way. Because we're not getting any of that from anybody.
All right, let's get a couple in before we hit the halfway point here. Scott on the west side going to lead us off here on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Scott.
Hey, what's up, crew? How we doing?
What's up?
Man, just going back to Andrew Wingard, he definitely has looked like our best safety, at least from what I've seen this whole entire year. Another thing, Trent Baalke, this is to you. It is an absolute disgrace that you would ever even compare any Jaguar team that you have been in charge of to any of our teams in the past. It is an absolute slap in the face to the guys from 99, to slap in the face from the guys from 07, slap in the face even to the guys in 2017. Slap in the face to Mark, you, David, slap in the face to Tony, Jimmy, everyone that has made this program and that has a rich tradition of actually being somebody. And to him to even mince those words out of his mouth is an absolute disgrace. I'm out.
All right, thanks, Scott. We presume, there's never been a moment where Trent Baalke said, "Yeah, I told Shad Khan this is the most talented team ever," but that's what we
Somebody
presume.
had to tell him.
We know Doug said he didn't say it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't say that. So likely the guy that put the team together. So I'm just trying to be fair, but I think a lot of people, fill in the easy context clues. And, I don't know about the slap in the face thing. I just thought it was absurd. Like, I didn't think he was doing it to insult other teams. I thought he was doing it to hype up these guys and the work he's done to assemble them. And I understand Scott's point of view. They haven't accomplished anything, and they're right. Mm-hmm. He's right. They haven't. And, one of the many reasons that people are not particularly fond of Trent Baalke at the moment here among the Jaguar fan base. Ben on the south side is next up. Hello, Ben.
Hey, guys. Merry Christmas. Happy
Merry
New
Christmas.
Year.
Same to you.
Thank you. So I got kind of an offbeat question, and it's directed towards David. So, question. So I know our defense is bad. Our offensive line's bad. Our team in general is just bad. So what if Patrick Mahomes was here? Would he be able to succeed on this team? Would we be a different team if Mahomes was here? And all the problems are fixed.
Okay.
That's a good question. I think we would be a much better team, honestly, from the start of the season if Mahomes was the quarterback. Because he would – clearly you see he gets the ball to everybody, and everybody plays at a much higher level because they believe that he can make every situation better for us by getting the ball to the guys. Whatever it is, they know he's going to get – so you're going to play much harder. Defense is going to go out there to try to get the ball back. I do believe even if it's Trevor, if Trevor is playing at a high level and had been playing at a high level all season, we would definitely have a much better record. I don't know how much better, but we would be way better than we are now.
I think the question, it's a good question from Ben, but the question that it brings to mind for me is, would Patrick Mahomes be Patrick Mahomes if the Jaguars had drafted him?
Well, no. Don't go back to him being drafted because they may have ruined him.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Like, when you say if we had Patrick Mahomes, well, if
just
you're saying
this year,
if you just handed him to us as developed as he is and the guy he is now, I agree. I think they would have won. I don't know what the number is, but they would have come through in some of these late game situations where the offense just needed a field goal or whatever.
Well, I don't even think we would be down or
maybe not
losing a lot because they were close games. And we know he's going to make plays. He has BTJ out there. How could he not? Who does he have right now that compares? He's got some
Xavier Worthies.
He's got some, and he seems to be just more of a speed guy, not a guy that's going to catch it in traffic and bounce off guys and go make plays. So, but I think Patrick now, I would not want to go back to his rookie year and say that we could develop him because we haven't done that yet. And Trevor seemed like he was going to be that kind of guy for us to develop, but it's still kind of giving us some hope, but not enough. And the way he finished this season didn't give us a lot of excitement right now, but we still believe in him. It's just we got to just start seeing it.
All right, we got to take a quick time out. If you want to stay on the line, we'll get to you right out of the break at 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. This is Jaguars Today on a Reaction Monday on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. We can't wait to get game day underway, so we get started 5 hours before kickoff.
I can't pass that up.
It's the Terminix Kickoff Show, live from Tailgaters Parking. Brought to you by Gatorade and Clearwater Irrigation.
Thank you.
On 1010XL.
We're H-A-P-P-Y, H-A-P-P-Y, because happy Honda days are here. Everything is bigger. Bigger selection, bigger discounts, bigger trade-in values. Honda, quality, value, safety. Don't miss happy Honda days going on now at your local Honda dealer.
All right, gang, I'm just going to level with you. Prosser here. There are not the problems associated with selling your home that you might think that there would be. There are solutions for sure. Your home sold guaranteed, or they will buy it. Who's they? It's Chad and Sandy Newman at chadandsandy.com. Call Chad and Sandy. They're the agents I would call to sell my home. And by the way, potential problems you think you may have. Maybe you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. Maybe you're worried you won't sell your home for the price you need. Chad and Sandy deliver with a promise. They guarantee your home sold at an agreed upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. We got proof. David and Heather, Fox Ridge and Orange Park. We wanted to move to Keystone Heights, closer to family and away from the city. We heard Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. It's all true. We got multiple offers and sold in 3 days for $15,000 above asking price. It's that simple. Go to chadandsandy.com or call 904-414-6200.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
It's a Dreamfinders Homes Monday.
Official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O.
If you want high-quality water in your home at a fair price that won't scare you to death, then talk to someone who knows water and is not a pushy salesman. Contact your local water boy, Keith. I install premium equipment and can repair or even rebuild your existing system. In a business known for aggressive sales tactics, let me show you how my approach is different. If you've got any water problems, contact the water boy at waterboyjack.com.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self-Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving? They can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
Jacksonville's building a fence along the goal line. This is the Superior Fence and Rail Defensive Player of the Game. Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
Jeremiah Ledbetter was an absolute force defensively for Jacksonville. The 6'3" defensive tackle produced 1 sack for the Teal and Black in what was a dominant showing. He had such a great performance that many flipped over how great it was. Jeremiah Ledbetter is your Superior Fence and Rail's defensive player of the game.
If you're tired of your fence looking like a bad hair day, well, it's time for a fence makeover with Superior Fence and Rail. They'll make your yard the talk of the town with a new fence installed by their expert team.
Your fence is fencing.
fantastic. My fence is giving all of my neighbors some serious pick and envy. Thanks, Superior Fence and Rail.
So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your fence installation project today.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. And Greg, when you start to shift from warmer weather into some cooler weather, you can get on the road. What has Honda got to offer?
Honda's got a bunch of great bikes. They've got the new e-clutch technology, which means you can ride without using your clutch.
And I love the fact you can go automatic on a bike, which was unheard of for a while.
It was for a long time, and Honda has mastered it.
You can log on, cyclesofjacksonville.com, see all they have to offer, or drop by the showroom. They're on Atlantic near Regency. That's Cycles of Jacksonville.
Here's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, sponsored by USA Park Airport Parking. There were a few motivators for Florida's performance in the Gasparilla Bowl, none bigger than getting it done for the seniors.
And I do think for our team, there was an obligation. Let's make sure that we handle our business here and send these guys out the right way.
University of Florida men's basketball headed into the holidays with a 54-point rout of UNF. However, for head coach Todd Golden, the real highlight was the defensive effort.
I thought really we probably only had like 4 or 5 defensive possessions where we got a little lazy or we didn't execute very well.
Other collegiate teams in our area saw the JU Dolphins fall in the team's final non-conference game on the road at UCF. North Florida women's basketball fell on the road in its non-conference finale against Florida to wrap up play in the 2024 calendar year. That's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 10:59 at 61 degrees, time at 10, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler, Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's our QB. It's a David Garrard Monday on 1010XL. Brought to you by WaterboyJacks.com.
All right, somebody said not sure about that Mahomes take. You still need Andy Reid, defensive coordinator, general manager, etc. Well, without Andy Reid, with Ryan Nielsen as DC, with Trent Baalke as the GM, all that's cooked into it. The Jags have lost 10 one-score games.
Yeah. And how many years did Patrick Mahomes not have a very good defense over there, but was just
I'm just saying, right,
lighting up the scoreboard?
Well, nobody's saying they're going to go 10-0 in those games.
And that's why I said I don't know how many more
Maybe
games
3?
they would have won, but they would have won more
I
games
think they would
with
have
them
as well. Just if you have the best quarterback in the game,
yeah,
you add that to what you're already in position.
Yep,
that you can be in 10 games that you lose by 1 score.
And how many times did we go down to try to go beat the team on the last drive and fail to do it? And how many times have we seen him go down there,
right,
run the ball a few times, get out of bounds, and then throw a touchdown, or they kick the field goal to win the game?
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, it's unprovable, but
yes,
it is what it is.
That's
so
sports talk radio.
There you go. That is absolutely right. Y'all are killing me. This is on the text line. More quarterbacks are ruined than developed. This is coaching and development. Nobody's saying that it's not. Who's saying that?
I actually said I didn't want to have him as a rookie because I don't know if he would have developed.
That's exactly
the same way.
what we're saying. If Patrick Mahomes came here, would he be the guy? I doubt it. Not the guy. Not a 3-time Super Bowl champ. I don't believe.
Yeah.
No, that's the whole organization.
Yes.
Right, and that is coaching and development and all that. That's exactly what we're pointing to.
Yeah. But drop him in right now, different story.
Drop him in fully formed and
They're better.
with a team that was in that many close games against some really not good teams along the way. I think he absolutely manages to pull some of those games out. All right, let's go to Will on the west side. Thanks for hanging on. Will, good morning. You're on Jaguars Today.
Fellas. Just to piggyback off of that real quick, well, the Bengals was trash. They got that quarterback, and it changed things. I mean, that whole franchise was a garbage bag on your head type franchise. And then that quarterback came. It was the same gym and everything, and it switched around, right? I'm just using that. But my thing is this, and I heard, and Leon said it last night, and just hearing Wingard talk, that lets me know it's a lack of leadership. For him to just come now and say it, that means it's been going on, right? Why haven't Hines Allen? Why haven't I don't want to put it on 16, but why haven't a Trevor Lawrence? Why haven't where's the leader? We know where the big buck guys are. We know who got that change coming in. Where is the leadership? Why do we have to get a participation guy, not knocking him, not a starter, an effort guy to say these things? Why aren't the leaders saying this? And that alone lets me know what the problem is, in my opinion, with this whole team. I'll take it off there, guys.
All right, well, thank you. Look, I'm not really going to argue with that, other than to say some guys' makeup doesn't, fit with them being that vocal screamer, yeller, and B, we don't see what goes on behind the scenes all the time. But clearly, we haven't seen too many of these post-game, just go off and this is unacceptable. This cannot stand. And a guy, when, like you said, call him a participation guy. I understand what you're saying. He's not a starter. He's not a full-time player. You need one of your better players, because if you're Andrew Wingard, that message only goes so far. I don't, Dave, if you had a guy that all the guys loved on the team, but he was a special teamer and he played a handful of snaps on offense or defense, I don't think any people would be like, hey, man, pipe down.
Yeah, no, nobody's going to pay attention to you as much if you don't play. Like, you got to be making plays on the field so we can see that and say, okay, this guy is doing it the right way. So if he says something, we got to listen in. Unless you have a vet on the team that, is later in his career, but he is also now trying to lead the guys, even though he doesn't play as much. We don't have any of those kind of guys either. So, I mean, I think there is some truth to that. Where have they been? We don't see enough guys coming out on that podium saying this is unacceptable and we can't let this happen anymore. We do hear some of that, but it just it sounds like player talk.
I think to some degree we've heard it from Trevor, and I think to some degree we heard it from Evan Ingram.
I was going to say, we hear it from Trevor, but Trevor delivers it in such a matter-of-fact way, like, yeah, man, we really need to be whatever.
He delivers it like a CEO.
Right. And I get that fans react to the passion and they see that. And you do see, like, for better or worse, a Ray Lewis or plenty of guys you could point to in Pittsburgh that would have been like that over the years, or any number of organizations where a guy says, enough is enough. We're on a 3-game losing streak. This is not how we play fill-in-the-blank football.
You generally don't want your quarterback to be a guy that runs that hot and cold.
No.
Right? Like in front of the microphone or anywhere. Like you can get it on the field, right? And you don't mind the guy being fiery on the field, but in front of the microphone, you're just get it over with.
Yeah.
That's kind of how everybody feels in the room. Just get it over with. We know you have to do this. Every now and then, these other guys that don't do it very often, they're the ones that go, wait a second, right? Like, I need to say something because I never get to say something.
And your quarterback is going to be a little bit more measured, but he can get a little bit more fiery if he's talking about himself and the offense and the way that he should be doing a better job. Like, he can get a little bit more fiery on himself, because your quarterback never wants to try to feel like he's calling people out on TV, a podium. So get fiery as a quarterback about the way you're playing. Even if you're still, like Burrow, still playing great, you can always do more to motivate your whole team.
Yeah, but where's that grimy defensive player who eats lightning and craps thunder?
Bart Scott
like Rocky
type guy, the guy that just run through a brick wall. I know we don't have enough guys that are coming out fighting mad, telling everybody they're fighting mad. They're just, they're just doing their job and then, going home and collecting that check.
All right, let's get a few more in here. They're getting stacked up. Let's get to Charles on the west side. Charles, what's on your mind this morning?
Hey, good morning. Dave, do you think after the malaise of this miserable season is finally mercifully over, do you think that word will start coming out of the locker room, beyond guys like Dewey, and of what's going on in there that we're going to start finding out from the players after the season's over?
Yeah, I think there probably is going to be some, especially guys that are leaving. They're out the door. They're not coming back. You might start getting some of those kind of comments and hearing some things. But mostly guys just move on, because if you make a stink as you leave one program, it makes other teams start to think, well, I don't know if we want this guy to come.
Is he going to be a problem if we have an issue?
Exactly. So you won't hear like straight up finger pointing at one another, but
you might hear it anonymously.
You'll hear some general finger pointing.
And look, it depends on what we're talking about, too.
Yeah.
Like, are we talking about, them saying the coaching staff's not preparing us well enough on a week-to-week basis, or guys were too preoccupied with whatever, I don't know. I guess we don't have long to wait.
Yeah, and honestly, I heard my own stuff from guys, not exact guys, but, you hear stuff as a former player about the way they finished last year. Guys just being done with the season. They are on
which is
a little bit of a slide. I know.
They're one more win and they win the division,
which is crazy.
How can you be checked out on that?
Guys are ruining their careers by not giving it everything they got because they think, oh, well, I'll just get it next year. Like, this season's over, I'll just get it next year, or I'm just going to collect a check. You won't be in the league very long.
Yeah, and I don't think you're talking about specific. I think you're saying that as a general rule.
Yes.
I just want to make clear, because when you say guys are ruining their careers, I don't think you're going A, B, C, and D. These four guys.
General guys, if you're ever thinking, well, I'll just get it next time, or you don't know if there's going to be a next time. You don't know what next season's going to hold. You might not even be a starter at that point in time. So you better do everything you can with the time you have right now.
All right, let's get to Robert in Fleming Island next up. Robert, go ahead, please.
Hey there, David. I wanted to know what you thought. I love Shad Khan as the owner, but I hated that decision for him to pay Trevor Lawrence $275 million, and the total collapse last year against Tennessee. I know if you would have been quarterback, you'd have won that game. And if he's paid that type of money, why didn't he win?
He wasn't paid that type of money last year, but just for the record. But, I mean, here's a guy just not happy with, your comments.
Yeah, so, going into the season, before he got paid, I was of this mind, let's see him go through a full season playing well, and then we can pay him as the season's going on, however it is. But we didn't have to give him that money at that point in time. I thought coming off of a not so good finish of a season, the wrong time to really pay a guy. So let's let him see. Let's get into next year. Let's maybe go through the season, whatever it is, but let's just wait on it. And they didn't. So you're hoping now as a Jags fan that he comes out on fire, ready to go, even if he starts off a little slow, because that's what I anticipate him starting a little slow. Just got paid. Everybody's, trying to get into the action of the season, but he never really got into the full flow of being one of the top elite guys, even though at one point he was like top 10 as the quarterback, in the NFL, but just didn't feel like it because we weren't winning those games. They were all being lost, by single-digit points here and there. But it is what it is. He's got paid, so we've got to make sure, the organization has to make sure they put the right pieces around him and also continue to develop him into an elite quarterback.
Look, and you can agree or disagree with their premise, but I think it was pretty clear that they felt like basically from middle of 2022 up until Trevor Lawrence got hurt last year when they're, even a little bit before they got to the 8-3 record, he had about a full season's worth of really good play, right? And then he got hurt, and the team kind of struggled down the stretch. And this is their mindset that, okay, we've seen now when he's healthy what he's capable of. And we're not going to hold him dealing with 3 or 4 different injuries down the stretch. In fact, you could laud him for playing through that. That's their position. Yeah. And if we know in our mind that this contract's coming at some point, it only gets more expensive down the line. The longer you wait, the more expensive it gets. Like the Dak Prescott situation, do you let him walk? And what's your answer if you don't? And you start the cycle all over again. And I think they felt like, well, we've got Josh Hines down here. We've got Trayvon. We've got Tyson Campbell. We've got a core of guys we want to keep together. If we hit the reset button on the quarterback position, then why are we giving anybody any kind of long-term money or even considering it?
I don't want to hit the reset button on him. I just wanted to see him come out into this season and start it off. Like, get us a good start, and then we can do it, week 3 or 4 or whatever. But I just felt like the way the season ended, and yes, he was playing good in those times, but I still never felt like he was, one of the elite guys in the league. So $275 million means you are the man. Like you are. There's Patrick Mahomes, and then there's you, because Patrick. But he's not even. I don't know.
Is Dak Prescott the best quarterback in the league?
He's not. But
it's market forces.
Yeah, but Dak will win a ton of games for you. It just wouldn't do it in the playoffs. So. That was my only thing. I can see why they did it, but it's kind of a rock and a hard place to me.
Right. If you don't do it, it brings in a lot of other complications. And I get it. Like any fan who thinks he's overpaid, it's hard to argue at the moment, based on the season he had, that he lived up to that deal this year. No question about it. All right, let's get Robert, thank you. Let's get Anthony on the north side before we hit the break here next on Jaguars Today. Anthony, good morning.
Good morning. I'm just going to go directly to the problem. It's character on this team, and it starts with Balky in the front office and the head coach. You look at Balky, you look at Eric Armstead yesterday. Bonehead plays back-to-back, and what does he do? He waves the ref off like no big deal. You sign this little guy to a brand-new contract. He couldn't stay healthy before that, and the last 2 weeks, he's out in injury. That is the kind of dumb, bonehead decisions made by the front office that just runs down this entire team. If we don't get rid of Balky, whether he retires or not, if we don't get rid of Balky, get rid of Doug, why you think Philadelphia ran him out of town? We don't get rid of those two guys and actually bring somebody in here with some fire and know what they're doing, the Jags will be this way in a brand new stadium going 0-15. I'm out.
All right, Anthony, I don't think that's an original take, but it's what I've heard from a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And by the way, when he said whether he retires or not, I actually heard recently that he may be considering that option. And I don't know, I don't have any kind of relationship with Trent Baalke like that to speak on it, but I know the person who told me about this, and they're not the type of person that would make this up. I trust them enough to say that that's at least being talked about in certain circles. I don't know if there's any truth to it or not, right? But, who knows? Like, I find it hard to believe somebody's going to walk away from guaranteed money, but maybe he's tired of taking on all the slings and arrows that he gets from the Jaguar fans. I'm not saying undeserved, by the way.
Maybe he'll be nudged away.
Maybe he will, or maybe it'll be something like, you know what,
we'll compensate
we'll call it a retirement
for your retirement,
right? Yeah. And who knows, or not, or maybe he stays, right? Yeah. I mean, we're going to find this out in 2 weeks. So, Anthony, thank you for the call. I think you represent how a lot of people feel, and whether you get your wish or not is to be determined. All right, 641-1010. We'll come back. More of your calls if you're so inclined on the Garbra Automall phone lines at 641-1010. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If offense and defense don't win the game, sometimes it's up to the special team.
And here comes the field goal team. They've got to hurry.
After the game, catch the Crown Royal Special Teams Player of the Game. Live generously and life will treat you royally on 1010XL.
This is the Mangler. Years of playing football coupled with lifestyle left my feet mangled with neuropathy. I was experiencing burning, tingling, and numbness. I spoke with 2 foot specialists and they told me there was no cure. They were wrong. I found Dr. Nate Riddle in Ponte Vedra. After utilizing his neuropathy treatment for only 2 weeks, I noticed a difference in my feet. I was regaining my feeling and balance. If you want relief from nerve pain, call Dr. Nate for a free consultation at Riddle Wellness, 904-395-5598.
What's larger, the Earth's moon or the planet Pluto?
Does your homeowner's insurance company contact you before, during, or after a big storm? If not, then it's time for you to contact Southern Oak Insurance. Find us online at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The moon is larger than Pluto as its radius is over 1,000 miles. Pluto, just 715 miles.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
This holiday season, give your home the gift that keeps on giving. Beautiful, energy-efficient windows and doors from Renewal by Andersen. With our exclusive Fibrix material, you'll enjoy windows that keep the cold out and the warmth in, perfect for those cozy nights by the fire. Limited time offer. Call today. Buy one, get one 40% off windows and doors. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
Jaguars today. It's a Dream Finders Homes Monday.
Hey folks, Dave Binion here with Zero Res. At Zero Res, we love rugs. We will treat your fine Oriental rugs with the tender and loving care they deserve. Gerard, the Zero Res rug manager, is one of the few certified master rug cleaners in Florida. If you want your rugs cleaned with tender loving care, call Zero Res. Right now, get your rugs washed and we will give you 25% off. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
The 1010XL restaurant of the day is Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island. Enjoy Monday Night Football with freshly made pizza, burgers, wings, sandwiches, and a full liquor bar at Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island.
Grinding out good grades can be just as challenging as winning games. That's why 1010XL salutes the Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234. Wednesdays on The Frangie Show.
Nick in here for About 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bow 9. Visit Bow 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bow 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
This is Walker Little of your Jacksonville Jaguars for Kingfish Pest Control. I've been a Kingfish customer for a while now and can confirm that their service is incredible. Not only do they protect my family from pests, Kingfish's office staff is the friendliest around. They even email me a photo of the tech before arriving at my home. Kingfish Pest Control is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Be sure to enter their Swat That Kick sweepstakes for free pest control for 3 years. Go to kingfishpest.com and tell them Walker Little sent you.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a professional stamp licker from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Martin Celery.
Oh, gosh. I can't wait to play, Bob.
Well, let's move things along. Tell him what he's won, Johnny.
Wait, but
That's right, Marty. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we've stocked up on the remaining inventory of low-cost 2024 model air conditioners. So you win. We're passing the savings on to you.
Can I answer a question first?
We need to make room for the 25s, so we're offering great deals on AC replacements while supplies last.
Could I spin the wheel at least? I've been practicing for a year.
With last-minute deals like this, there's no question that you are cool.
What do I tell my kids?
There you go. Have a souvenir t-shirt.
Thanks.
Stay cooler with Bueller. Visit BuellerAir.com.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Tailgate special alert. 3 pounds of marinated chicken, 2 pounds of marinated steak tips, 2 pounds of fresh ground beef, and 2 pounds of homemade sausage for only $80 to feed your crew.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts,
Choose Southern Steer Butcher.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Not just Monday. David Garrard Monday on 1010XL. Brought to you by WaterboyJax.com.
All right, we'll get back to your calls, and we'll get to some social media reactions coming up as well on a Reaction Monday. Jags fall 19-14. I was close on the score. I had 20-13, but I had the Jags winning. So not as close as it seems like in the initial. Did McManus have him on the top line this week?
He did, yeah.
Yep. Old Tommy
Back-to-back weeks.
He's trying to get out there and make up some ground.
Yeah, I think I had the Jags 17-16. And you said, you think they'll score 17? I was like, you're right, 13-12.
Yeah. Right. So there you go. You're right on the 13. All right. Why don't we take a quick moment to go around the rest of the NFL?
Now, Gems Around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Philadelphia quarterback Jalen Hurts left during the first quarter of the Eagles' loss to Washington, was unable to return because of a concussion. We'll see what that means for him going forward into the last couple of weeks there in Philadelphia. Atlanta wide receiver Drake London and New York Jets cornerback Sauce Gardner both left their games with hamstring injuries. Ian Rappaport reported yesterday that the Miami Dolphins could release Calais Campbell if they fall out of the playoffs race, which would allow him, obviously, to sign on with one of the playoff teams here for this year. But we'll see if that comes to fruition or not. And Pittsburgh head coach Mike Tomlin said yesterday that wide receiver George Pickens, who has missed the last 3 games with a hamstring injury, has a real chance to play this week. They play on Christmas Day, the Steelers do. So just a couple of days to get ready for that one for them.
Yeah, that's it's a weird week, right?
That's a quick turnaround.
You got
that's why they played Saturday.
By the way, if you don't have any kind of if all you have is broadcast TV, you're out of luck for most of the week, right? Until you get
ready
to Sunday.
for the buffering.
You got Netflix on Wednesday for the doubleheader. You got Amazon on Thursday, NFL Network triple header on Saturday. So that's what you got to look forward to. And I've got all that, so I'm going to watch them, but not everyone does. Nope. And I think, you know what? Thinking of the scores, I think I had 11 because I had some funky score. It might have been 20-11.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Something weird. But either way, we all had the Jags winning, and that was incorrect. 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. Let's see if Leo has a thought here. Leo, good morning.
Good morning, and Merry Christmas to you, gentlemen.
Likewise.
Hey, I promise, Mike, I'm going to stay on one topic today.
Thank you, Leo.
One topic.
That'd be awesome. I appreciate it. Because we feel like you make some good points, but sometimes you fire hose us with so many of them that we don't know where to respond. So please go ahead.
I'm sorry.
You're all right.
Sorry.
You're good.
Hey, listen, I appreciate that update because guess what? You was reading my mind. All I got is broadcast TV. I guess I won't be watching nothing unless somebody invite me over. Because I can't do, after the Tyson fight, I can't do any more of the streaming and the buffering. And But listen, one topic. Andrew Wingard comment. Dude, I love Andrew Wingard since he's been here. I want everybody to pay attention to something. This was okay, so 2 things. Andrew Wingard's comments yesterday, right? And remember this. Brent Baalke didn't draft Andrew Wingard. Keep that in mind, okay? And all the comments that he made, keep that in mind. And then remember earlier in the season, Andre Cisco came out with a comment and said, team quit. Now,
yes.
All right, so Andrew Wingard should be a starter in this league. I like what he and everybody. I don't like just to say what it is. Oh, he's white. He ain't fast enough. His arms ain't long enough. He ain't strong enough. I totally disagree. If you look at that man's resume, his game start. The man has had 1 pick every season, and I guarantee you, if he plays the next 2 weeks, he'll get his 1 pick this year too. He's got 6 picks. Campbell's only got 6 picks, but he got all that money, right? And I know it's a different position. Andre Cisco only has 8. Andre Cisco has 8 interceptions since he's been here, right? And look at he's started like 15 games every year. And so if you look at the percentages, Andrew Wingard should be on the field, and I don't know why he's not. And maybe it's because that's not Trent Baalke's guy. And see, this is the kind of garbage that goes on when you bring these different GMs in. If they bring another GM in, I got news for you. They're going to probably clean house with a lot of these guys. And this is the problem that we've always had. And I just want to say one more thing before I go.
Leo, all right, come on.
All right, go ahead.
All right, one topic is going beyond, but go ahead.
You're one last thing, because David, didn't you play, like, I'm going to just say this. He played with Mercedes Lewis, didn't he?
Yep.
That's what I mean. Like, that man should still be on this team. I saw Dante Fowler Jr., 8.5 sacks. We have drafted good people on this football team, and we just let them go. Just dismissed a lot of guys. And I would like to see them keep some good guys. I like Andrew.
All right, Leo, I got to jump in here because this is going to turn into 3 and 4. And we appreciate it. Merry Christmas, all that. But you can never stay on one topic. You can't. And that's okay. All right? We know that going in. But we got to focus a little bit here. Andrew Wingard had one season where he had 15 starts for the Jaguars. He had 1 interception in that season. I mean, let's not turn Andrew Wingard into something he's more. And nobody's saying he shouldn't start because he's white. Yeah. You said that, Leo. We didn't bring that up. I don't, so don't cast that over us. Yeah. Andrew Wingard, slow does not equal white, okay? He is not as fast as some guys. He's not as big as some guys. Yeah, he gives you everything he has, but what he has isn't the same as the better safeties in the National Football League, in my opinion.
Andre Sisco has a lot more raw talent than a guy like Andrew Wingard does. Mm-hmm. And if you could bottle up the energy and the focus that Andrew Wingard had and give it to a bunch of guys on the raw, that's what you want. You want a bunch of talented guys who have the drive of a guy like Andrew Wingard. That's what you're looking for, is an entire locker room of that. It's hard to put all of that together. It's why Andrew Wingard is a fan favorite, because the energy he brings when they're good is amazing. When they're bad, it's like finally someone's saying it, right? Like, he's the guy who's willing to he steps into whatever that breach is, whatever it happens to be for the football team. And that's why the fans love him, because he does kind of represent them. Right? And he's not doing it on purpose. He's just representing himself. Like, his energy whenever he does this kind of stuff, but it does. The fans are like, yeah, that guy. He said it the way I would say it if I was in front of a microphone. It's like, thank goodness someone's willing to. He was willing to do it in 22, and he's willing to do it now. That's his energy. He matches the fan base perfectly.
By the way, we can all love Mercedes Lewis, and we do, right? But Mercedes Lewis, very good blocker, elite blocker in his heyday. I don't know what he's anymore. In the last 3 years, by the way, he's 40.
Yeah.
Okay, in the last 3 years, he's caught 11 passes total. In 3 years, he hasn't had more than 359 yards since, anyone want to guess? 2012. Okay, so 12 years ago. So if you're pining for a tight end who has played with quarterback, he played with Aaron Rodgers.
He did.
Okay? He wasn't catching he wasn't making much of an impact at all as a receiver. Is he a good blocker? Is he still in the league for that reason? Sure. But to bemoan the fact that Mercedes Lewis is not here at the age 40, he has 1 catch this year for 2 yards. Yeah. Okay? I'm sorry. He's a ghost of what he used to be at this stage of his career. And he's had a wonderful career. To last that long, to stay that
Playing
healthy.
At 40 is crazy.
All that is fantastic, right?
Ridiculous.
But
you're not getting the impact from Mercedes Lewis that you're getting from Brenton Strange right now.
No.
I mean, come on.
No. And by the way, like, yes, guys do go other places, and they do perform better than they did here in Jacksonville, but that doesn't mean the Jags made the wrong decision at the time. Like, I'm not saying the coaching staff shouldn't have gotten more out of certain players, but when you're not getting that out of players, like Caleb Von Chason had a sack yesterday, does that mean the Jags were wrong to get rid of him? It was a terrible pick.
There was plenty of opportunity when he was here.
And so, like, I look back and Dante got dealt. And by the way, Dante was always a little bit flaky off the field on top of it. Dante got obviously injured, not his fault, his rookie season. Then he played. He had 4 sacks, 8 sacks, 4 sacks, and was in the midst of a season in which he was on pace for about 4 sacks. And so, yes, has he had a nice rebound season this year? Absolutely. And he's been better since he got away? Sure. But how long do you wait for that to happen with a guy before you go, we're not getting it out of him, we got to get something
Some point you got to
for
move
this
on.
investment? I mean, so, like, and I think you could probably find that with a lot of teams, not maybe to the degree that you do with the Jags. I'm sure there are teams that make better decisions on when to let players go or when to retain them for an extra year.
Well, I'm not paying attention to all the other teams as closely as I do the Jaguars, right? So I'm not saying the Jags are alone in these kind of things happening. I notice it when it's a Jaguars player that it happens with it. It's like, oh, that happened again. I don't follow the Bears that same way. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen to the Bears.
Keenan Allen's having a really good year with the Bears, right? I guess the Chargers are dumb, or do they decide they need to get you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you got to move on from younger players because of salary cap issues and different things. And again, I'm not saying that, but specifically about any one guy that the Jags have let go, but to say that Mercedes Lewis should still be on this team, and this is one of the come on.
Could he have been here a couple extra years?
Yes,
yes.
But we're way past that range of his impact. All right, we got to take our final timeout. We'll come back, look at some of your responses on a Reaction Monday to how you feeling about the Jags dropping one to a team that was on a 10-game losing streak. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Yeah, holidays coming up. It's a tough time for some people. You know what? You don't have to start with Awaken 180 today. Maybe you want to just sit back, not think about anything, and then get into January. Maybe that's going to be your New Year's resolution. It doesn't have to start on January 1st. Any day you decide to start is a good day with Awaken 180 because they have a proven method to help you lose weight and to help you, if you follow their coaching, maintain that weight loss for really as long as you like. 10 years after their founding, Awaken 180's had over 23,000 clients and over 98% satisfaction rating. That's because those clients have lost a combined 750,000 pounds. They've eliminated the need for cholesterol medications, blood pressure medications, even in some cases, type 2 diabetes medications. I know all my numbers look great. The last time I had a biomedical checkup, I give a lot of credit to Awaken 180. Lose weight, feel great, look better, and maintain that weight loss. Schedule a free consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Have you heard? Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are aiming to sell 1,000 vehicles this December. How? I've told my team to take all reasonable offers. We won't lose your business over price. With thousands of cars, trucks, and SUVs on the ground, all priced to sell, we guarantee the most money for your trade and the easiest car buying experience ever. I promise we ain't leaving nothing on the table. This is the absolute last weekend. Visit Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're here to wow you.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey. Here in North Florida, you know that when temperatures go up and your AC goes out, you need help now. Like right now. Like lickety-split. So why not call Lickety Split and get same-day emergency service for your AC? Now, I bet you've seen their trucks all over town because they've got dozens of certified technicians ready to repair not only your AC, but your home's plumbing and electrical, too. So when you want it done right and you need it done right now, call Lickety Split, AC, Plumbing, and Electric.
Dreamfinders Homes, Monday.
On Jaguars Today.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can easily find coverage options that fit your budget. If only it was that easy to name your baby.
How about Jaden?
Nope.
Okay. Michael?
Went to middle school with a glue-eating Michael.
Sebastian?
Dated one in college.
How about Damien?
Vampire name.
All right. Greg?
Not feeling it.
Okay. No worries. No worries. Jeffrey?
Oh, love that one.
Wait, really?
No.
Find coverage options that fit your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
For 79 years, each Gator Bowl game wrote a chapter in a story filled with excitement, celebrity, and a touch of drama. The game has seen iconic coaches like Bear Bryant, Vince Dooley, and of course, Bobby Bowden. Football stars like Larry Zonka, Archie and Peyton Manning, and Michael Vick. The 80th chapter features Duke and number 14 Ole Miss. Thursday, January 2nd in primetime on Bill Gay Grounds at Everbank Stadium. Tickets on sale now at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com.
Stop letting high interest interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses an AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start to the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week, you can be credit card debt-free. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, MLS, consumeraccess.org.
Go inside your home team's locker room with Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline.
Check out my blog at 1010XL.com.
So you can catch all the news and nuggets you need to know.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing,
where quality and experience count. Now, the Performance Painting High Performance Play of the Game. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
BTJ's nickname should be ATM because he's money whenever you need it. Matt Jones in the third quarter would find the rookie phenom for a 62-yard touchdown, making the score 14-13 with 54 seconds left in the period. The Brian Thomas Jr. score is your Performance Painting Play of the Game.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jaguars' record is now 3-12 after Sunday's loss to the Raiders. Pro Football Hall of Famer Tony Baselli on the approach for the Jaguars with 2 games to go.
Your record is what it is, and I think what you want to do, and I think for Doug Peterson, the coaching staff, and all those players in the locker room, you have 2 weeks to kind of finish the season off. No matter what you do, it's not going to be great. But, boy, winning a couple games will at least feel like, hey, we finished the right way as professionals, gave great effort, especially next week against the Titans at home. I think that's an important game to go find a way to win.
Pro Football Hall of Famer Tony Baselli, courtesy of Jaguars Radio, with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update. I'm Andrew Gibson.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, the Jags cooled down your expectations this week in terms of what they might do against a terrible, terrible team, which leaves them as a terrible, terrible team. I'm not sure, like, if you go to Tankathon, Tony, a lot of people are into the old Tankathon site, which
there's a
projects.
site?
Oh, yeah, it's a site called Tankathon, right? And it
covers all the sports. We watch it for the NFL.
It shows you the draft order, right?
Oh, okay.
But it also projects the draft order based on strength of schedule moving forward. So right now, it's got New England ahead of Jacksonville, but I think in their latest mock. But I think they had yesterday in the draft order. Let's see. For some reason, I thought they had Jacksonville ahead of New England, which I
heard we were third.
But yeah, third. But if you project forward,
okay.
But the Patriots have a lower strength of schedule than we do. Strength of schedule actually tops head to head. It's only if you're tied in strength of schedule, which is very difficult to be tied in strength of schedule, that the head-to-head actually matters. Isn't that weird? Like, you would think, all right, we're tied, and there are 2 teams tied, it's head-to-head. But in this case, there are going to be a bunch of teams tied at 3 3 or 4 wins when the season ends up. So chips are going to fall where they fall.
Yeah, who's
in
New
that
England
regard.
play the last 2 weeks?
Well, they just played Buffalo yesterday, so I'm guessing they have Miami maybe for one of them, or the Jets.
They got the Chargers and the Bills.
They have the Bills again. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, their strength of schedule is going to rise.
Yeah.
Right, and the Jags playing Tennessee and Indianapolis is going to be lower.
Oh.
It's going to be low. Well, it's going to. Yeah, it should. Anyway, it is what it is. As far we don't know, 2 weeks from now we'll tell the tale where all the chips fall on this. But that does set up today's 10-10 take.
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take, brought to you by
Double checked. Cybersecurity made simple.
Very easy for me to be bipolar on this result yesterday, right? The one hand, I'm happy that the Jags have a head-to-head loss versus the Raiders and, can move ahead of them in draft position, although it could be a very temporary thing. I don't know if I see the Raiders winning another game in the next 2 weeks, and if the Jags win one, then it goes right back to what it was, so it's kind of pointless. So from the standpoint of if you are looking at we're not going to the postseason, I wanted to play hard, not necessarily smart, but play hard, and if they lose, we secure a little bit better in terms of draft capital. Fine, you got what you wanted. I get that. And so I can look at that from that standpoint and be happy with that result for what it means 4 months from now in April, potentially. But as I assess, looking at it from if I'm the owner of this team and I want to see this team not only play out the string, but show me that you're better than the bottom dwellers of the league. How is this result anything but a major negative for Doug Peterson and company? Like, I feel like the Trent Baalke thing is baked in because you're not going to make a bunch of moves one way or the other in the final few weeks. He's done what he's done to be judged on.
Yeah.
It's now coaching staff, what are you getting out of this team and what kind of performance? And do you have a team that's going to continue to make mental lapses? And as Andrew Wingard said, all year long, this has been happening. It's unacceptable, right? But I'm not the one who gets to make that judgment. Only one guy gets to judge whether that's going to be acceptable or not. But for me, this is a losing to this team. I thought even the Jags almost could not find a way because the Raiders are just that inept offensively. They have so few weapons to go to, and that's true. And that was coming off, too. They put up some decent points against, I thought, a more talented Jets team. This just goes through this team's consistency is in its inconsistency, right? Week to week, you have no idea if it's going to be the defense that's the bigger problem, the offense is going to be the bigger problem, occasionally the special teams, or if it's going to be multiple of them. But something's always a problem.
The Jets are a team with some talent in a bunch of places that, they've had a year where they haven't been able to put it together, right? Like they just can't find a way to put it together. They put it together against the Jags. It's not a big surprise, right? The Jets found a way to win that game. It doesn't matter that they're only a 4-win team. They got a lot of talent on that team. Well, this was a week where you looked at the Jags going up against the Raiders and you said, the Jags ought to win this game.
Yes.
Like, their roster looks like it's better than this Raiders roster with everything that's happened to them so far. Here recently, they've gotten, it feels like, worse and worse and worse. Now, they had that crazy game against the Chiefs a couple weeks ago, and maybe that should have opened our eyes to the possibilities, of some of the things that could happen.
The Jags did that against Minnesota, right? They fought
it's
and
the NFL.
came back against Green Bay and Philadelphia and at least made it close.
Yeah, it's the NFL, but you're right, Demps. This is a football team. You look at the matchup going up against this Raiders team, inexcusable. Like, even if you're among the group of the fans that are like, I'm fine with a loss, right, to the Raiders, that doesn't mean you should be fine with the effort you're getting from your coach and the players that caused you to lose. You can be okay with the result because of what it means, but not be okay with what the heck is happening with them on the field. I know they're not quitting, right? Like, that's the idea. Like, week to week, the NFL teams don't just quit because it's the end of the year. And when they do, everyone should be called on the carpet for it, right? Like, the coach, everybody is on the line if it looks like the team has given up on what's going to happen with the football team at that point. And that's what that football team looked like yesterday. And it's not because we need to tank. It's because they're terrible. You know, like that's the reasoning for it. It's not a good result. It's what are y'all doing?
What
Just
are they
can't
doing,
explain.
Dave? What are they doing?
You know, I thought, okay, we got Mac. He's coming off a pretty good game. We're going to win this game. I mean, the Raiders just don't really have a chance. Only way they have a chance is if we allow them to stick around and feel. That's what I was thinking going into the game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we started the game, and I thought, okay, this is just going to be, unfortunately, an evenly matched game between two bad teams. But hopefully it's going to give us some good plays. You know, guys are going to bust some coverages. We saw it happening all over the field, a little bit more with our defense. But I just thought, okay, it's still, at least it's going to be a good game. And it turned out to be just a terrible game to watch. You got a little bit better in the second half, but not by much. And when you're a Jags fan watching that, you just think, oh, my gosh, can the season just be over right after this game? But it can't, unfortunately.
I hope.
Sweep the Titans.
If I'm the owner of the Jaguars, Mr. Shad Khan, and the Jags lose to the Titans, I'm doing whatever exit interviews after that game because I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm swayed by beating the Colts for whatever reason.
Yeah.
We seem to do well against no matter what the records are. And so I just hope for Jag fans' sake that 2 weeks from now, 11:48 a.m. Eastern time, we have some clarity about where the owner is going with this. And then we can comment on that. We can be disappointed or elated or somewhere in the middle or whatever the case may be. But I don't want what else do you need? What more evidence? So make up your mind. Make sure I want that mind to be made up in the next 2 weeks. At this point, I don't care if they win their last two. It wouldn't sway me. Now, if you're already thinking about bringing them back, fine. That's your prerogative. But if you're thinking about not, and you beat Tennessee and Indy, and that sways you somehow, that's
I'm just not sure what has happened this year that would make you think as an owner, I need to run this back. Nothing I can't think of just because you had injuries. Nothing made me feel like, man, we have the team. We just had some bumps here and there, and we fell off around the corner over here. But, man, you can see it. You can't see it, especially defensively. We can't see them stopping anybody. We don't see them shutting down offenses. It just seems like whatever offense they're playing, they're going to move the ball. They're going to get chunk plays. They're going to score. We might hold them to 3 points, but it's almost because they didn't do a good enough job getting into the end zone. It's not because our defense stopped them.
Man, Dave, we wish you a Merry Christmas. We're out of time.
Wish you guys a Merry Christmas.
You're going to be gone next week, right?
Yes.
Is that correct? What about the week after?
I'll be back.
All right, back to wrap up the season.
I wish we were out of time for the season right now.
But we're not. So Merry Christmas.
We're not. Thanks, guys.
To you and Mary and the whole family.
Yes,
and,
you guys too.
Appreciate all your
and
service
to all of
throughout the
Duval
year.
out there.
Absolutely. So we'll see you in a couple of weeks, and Happy New Year and all that stuff. So for David Garrard, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Thanks for listening to Jaguars Today. 2 more weeks to go, people. And it'll all be over, but the decision-making. And coming up next, we've got Helmets and Heels, I believe, live in Vegas once again because they're too lazy to get on a red eye. Ladies, what are we doing? Come on. Unbelievable, man. I mean, I covered a team in Seattle, and I was home for the show 10 a.m. the next morning. What's going on here? It must be nice to be Helmets and Heels. All right. I kid. All right. They come up next, so stick around for that. You're listening to 1010XL and 92.5 FM.